off each other. So put your camera back on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just there making sure everyone is ready to go. And can I just say, I'm super excited to be here tonight. Thank you to everyone that's come to visit our academy. So far, we've had over 1,000 people either coming to our this is a virtual one, live open event that we had 2 weeks ago, or visited our academy over the course of our open mornings that took place last week. And I've said this time and time again, this is a nerve-wracking experience for us as well as yourselves. And I know that parents are sat there thinking, well, actually, am I making the right decision? Is this a school for my child? Is this what's going to make the difference in their life? And actually, we're saying exactly the same things to ourselves. Are we the right school? Are we good enough to be there for your child over the next 5 years? And I like to say that we're 100% confident we are. And I'm really proud of Bexley Heath Academy. My name is Rebecca Luther, and I'm the principal of Bexley Heath Academy. And I'm, like I said, super excited to be with you tonight. Now, I'm just doing some last final checks to make sure everyone's in place. On screen, you've got with us at this point in time, Mr. Chowdhury. He's going to be talking to you about our wonderful transitions process. I'll be talking to you about the successes of the school and things that we've been most proud of in terms of our last examination series. And we've got a range of different students that you're going to be seeing and hearing from over the next hour or so, talking about their experiences. We know that we've had an influx of questions to answer, and we've gone ahead and made sure we try to embed it into our presentation somewhere. But also, if it is that you've got any sorts of questions that come up off the back of what we're talking about right now, go ahead and email Mr. Chowdhury or myself, and we'll be able to happy to answer any of those things towards the end of our presentation. Mr. Chowdhury, next slide, please. Everyone loves my name, so they can learn how to spell it straight away. Perfect, thank you. Now, the first thing I want to do is talk about our core values, because our core values are lived and breathed by every single member of our community. Now, it's really unfortunate that we're not sat here face to face, because I'll get what I call power poses out of you to really demonstrate exactly what the power poses are. And that helps our students remember exactly what we expect from them. We want them to we want them to be unusually brave. We want them to discover what's possible every day at the academy. We want them to push their limits, and we want them to be big-hearted. And big-hearted is probably my favorite one, because we want people to care for their community. We want students to consider the impact that they have on the environment. And we also want them to be better human beings by the time that they leave us from Bexley Heath Academy. Over to you, sir. Thank you. Now, people ask me all the time, Miss, what are your outcomes? What's the measure of success? And whilst, yes, GCSE and A-level outcomes are one measure of our success, but actually, if you go into local communities and you ask the shopkeepers specifically about Bexley Heath Academy students, what they'll say is they're really kind, they're really respectful. If you go to the local residential home that's just across the street, what they will say is that the students visit them on a regular basis, and they have lots of charity events and loads of events that they run in order to make sure that our local community members in the residential home have visitors over the course of weeks, months, and so forth. If you go to local primary school down the street, they'll talk to you all about the masterclasses our students have run for them in the past. And Mr. Chowdhury has been a pillar for that as well. And they'll also talk to you about the reading program our sixth formers are going to be delivering to them over the course of the next couple of months as well, with their weakest readers. So something amazing that's happening in every corner of the community, just to celebrate the success of our students as well. So that is one measure, how are kids getting on in the community. In terms of our academic outcomes, well, I don't want to show off at this stage in time, but I'm super proud of what our students have been able to achieve at Key Stage 5, and they broke all the measures. Every single subject improved. And not to say that this should be the final measure, but we finally had students that were brave enough and had the knowledge and power to go ahead and apply to Oxford University. So that's Oxford and Cambridge University last year. We had 6 applications in total. And we're really proud to say that one of our students successfully got to Cambridge University. Super, super proud. We increased our number of students going to university by 10%. So at this current moment in time, or for last academic year, 61% of our students went to a university. And again, you might ask me the question, well, actually, is that it, Miss? You just care about students going to university? Not at all. The remaining students that did not go to university had successful applications to apprenticeship programs with providers such as Amazon, Mercedes, JP Morgan. And there were other students that decided to go into employment, and that was the right thing for them as well. So whatever the student decides to do, we'll support them in that process to get them to their next destination. Now, let's talk about outcomes. And I know that the words as well as the numbers on the screen don't mean much at this point in time, but we'll do it on a subject level. So, sir, hit that button one more time. Perfect. Thank you. So I've decided to focus on the top end grades because you'll see that the numbers are quite high there. And that means something very, very special. That means that we're doing really well in these particular subjects. And I could list every single subject, but it'll be a couple of slides that I'll need to do. So 66% A star to B grade in chemistry, absolutely fantastic. 72% in A star to B grades in mathematics. 50% of our students that did physics got an A star to B grade. 88% of our students that did sports got distinction, star, or distinction. So that's top grades at the top there. 64% of our art students got a distinction, star, distinction. Again, absolutely fantastic. And then digital media students, 75% of them, and I keep repeating it, 75% of those students got a distinction, star, distinction. And I'm really proud of our students. And it shows that our students are dedicated, they're focused, but also shows our subject expertise when it comes to teaching staff members. Now, on the screen right now, you might be thinking, well, Miss, that says 2023. Well, we're waiting for a few of our remarks to come back for our GCSEs. And our GCSEs are probably the first measure for you over the next 5 years of exactly what the outcomes could be. Now, what I can say is that we matched last year, which is really, really good. But we're hoping that our remarks will push the students over the edge and we can be even better than we were last year. But let's talk about those individual subject outcomes. So we just wait. There we go. One more hit. There we go, sir. Mr. Chowdhury is learning as we go through on how to press a button. But he's now gone too far. He's going to have to go back. Fabulous. Mr. Chowdhury, do you want to give a wave to the audience? So yeah, there we go. There we go. He is listening to me. So if I go from the top, 97% of our students that did drama got a pass plus. That means that they passed their qualification. Absolutely fantastic. 75% of our students in mathematics got a 4 plus. We've also got 73% of our students that did Spanish got a 4 plus, and I can keep going on, but the numbers speaks for themselves. Next slide, sir. Now, not many people and not many principals will share the top 5 priorities that they're working on, but I'm really happy to talk about our top 5 priorities. And the reason for that is our parents, as well as our internal stakeholders, should all know exactly what we're working on as a school. And it's really important for us to be open about it so we can all work together as a community. And our constant dialogue in our latest news. And thank you so much for you to log on a Monday and connecting to the latest news. So, Mr. Chowdhury, how many people have read latest news in terms of our year sixes potentially coming in?
I'd say over 300, Miss.
Over 300. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for clicking on that button when Mr. Chowdhury sent out that link. But on latest news, you know that we talk about attendance. You know that we're talking about personal development. You know that we're talking about the quality of education consistently. So our focus and engagement is the same. And we want to make sure that we are improving year upon year. Now, some people ask me, well, Miss, in terms of your top 5 priorities, is it because you're bad at it? Not at all. It's because we want to be better. We know that in terms of attendance, if a child has 95% attendance, they're more likely to get a pass grade in their overall qualification. But we want to increase it further. We want to make sure that they've got 95% attendance at the very, very least. So attendance is going to be the focus at all times. And I don't really apologize for this, but if it is that students are not attending the academy, we are going to be in constant contact with you. We are going to make sure that we make that phone call home to make sure that they're well and safe and they're happy as well. If it is that there's any difficulties in getting students into school, we've got such a plethora of staff members that can help you out. We have a dedicated family liaison officer. We have attendance officer. All of our students have what we call prep champions. Now, some of you might be familiar with the term form tutors. It's very similar to that, but we've got prep champions that will see children over the course of the day for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. So they can look at the incremental changes. They can have those attendance conversations. And if it is that parents are struggling with attendance, well, you're not alone there. And if you need any help and support, we're here to help you out. Our other focuses are personal development. We want to make sure that we have a holistic curriculum. And as I mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that our students are great human beings when they leave the academy. We want to make sure leadership is effective, because if leadership is not effective, then those outcomes you see and those great numbers that you saw next to those alphabets or the other numbers, well, actually, they wouldn't be as high. We want to make sure that student outcomes are brilliant. And I say student outcomes, and that means every single student, whether you're a high attainer, whether you've got SEND, whether it is that there might be safeguarding concerns with their student, there's no excuse for them not to perform, because we have staff members that actively will be removing those barriers to progressing in education. And last but not least, quality of education. Now, again, thank you so much to all of you that came last week and saw me running around the school during the course of open morning and with my laptop. And that's because I try and get to every single classroom of every teacher as many times as I can throughout the course of the day to monitor the quality of education. And my colleagues also support me in that process as well. And Miss Kabalka, who'll be speaking later, will talk to you all about teaching and learning. So next slide, please. Perfect. So another question we get asked all the time is about our curriculum. What is it that we're offering students at Bexley Heath Academy? And our core curriculum is as follows. So every year 7, 8 and 9 will get the following subjects: English, Maths, Science, MFL. They'll also then have humanities, art, drama, music, design and technology, and innovation technology. Again, I know the question is going to be, what is innovation technology? Well, innovation technology is finance, business studies, media, and IT. And our holistic curriculum, and the last group of subjects that we have are PE, RE, personal development, and extracurricular activities. Now, fun fact, last year, out of 330 students, 239 of our Year 7 students joined an extracurricular activity. And we're super excited to see exactly what the numbers are for the current Year 7. So I'm sure Mr. Chowdhury, who deals with all of our extracurricular clubs and spends so much time in making sure they're fun and engaging, will share some figures at some point during the course of this presentation. Now, we want to have a broad and balanced curriculum, and that's why we offer all of these subjects. But we also want students to be able to experience between Year 7 all the way up to Year 9, the various different options that they can take at GCSE level. When it comes to GCSE, there are some non-negotiables, and every single student will do English, mathematics, science, MFL. They'll pick one of the humanities subjects, so either a geography or a history, and they can have 2 additional choices, which is a free choice wherever they want to. Parents often asked us, are you going to make students do GCSEs versus vocational? Well, they can pick the subjects that they would like to do at that stage. Over to you, sir. Thank you. So the structure of the day, well, Ms. Kabalka will tell you the pernickety details, but each of our lessons is 75 minutes, and I'm really happy to keep them at 75 minutes. We know that in 75 minutes, you can get to the nitty-gritty of every single subject. You can assess the students, you can correct misconceptions, you can assess them again, you can reteach. It's absolutely fabulous. In the course of the day, you also have 30 minutes of what we call prep period. Now, on a Monday, students will focus on arithmetic. So every student in the school up from Year 7 to Year 10 will focus on arithmetics. We know that when it comes to the GCSE paper, 20% of the GCSE paper is actually Key Stage 2 curriculum, Key Stage 2 knowledge and skills. And there are actually 12, I think it's 9 to 12 topics in total that they'll be assessed on. And fundamentally, what schools often forget to do is go back to Key Stage 2 curriculum. Because they think, well, actually, SATs is done. I'll go ahead and crack on with Key Stage 3, then Key Stage 4. And of course, they'll remember Key Stage 2. But we know that that's a big part of the GCSE. So every Monday, we do the core skills from Key Stage 2 to rehearse those, and they become the fundamental basis of our mathematics lessons. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we focus on reading development. So on a Tuesday, we focus on grammar development. On Wednesday, it's free choice, so students can read any text that they would like to. That's appropriate for their reading age. On a Thursday, we focus on literature development. And on a Friday, each term, we have a different focus. So this term is going to be careers, and next term, it will be a think piece. Now, it's consistent when it comes to the school day. We don't really vary the timings of those lessons. That's quite important. All of our lessons are disruption free. And I know Ms. Delva is going to take great joy into telling everyone about how we keep our lessons disruption free. And our cycle is the same. And I don't want to step on Ms. Kabalka's toes by telling you all about the lesson cycle, because that's about to come up very soon. Next slide, sir. Now, we are going to give all of our students, when they come to the academy, a Chromebook. And that's not anything like a fun gadget that they're to have. It's an integral part of their learning. It enhances the learning experience. Through technology and through the use of the Chromebooks, teachers are able to do things that we have never done before. Having group work taking place in a lesson where students can be sat in the opposite end of the classroom, but actually they're working on exactly the same thing. Providing students with unique resources to help them go over topics again, supporting them with recall. If it is that students are struggling with reading, well, actually, there's a function on the Chromebook that goes ahead and reads out the text for students so they can work a bit more independently. And there's so many things that our teachers are able to do to make the lessons very fun and very engaging. Now, all we ask students to do is to take home the Chromebook and make sure it's fully charged at the end of the day. And everyone's shouting, I can already hear it. Miss, how much do we have to pay? Not much at all. It's £15 per year, and that's what we call Chromebook insurance. So we go ahead and make sure that the piece of kit is fully repaired every time that there's a bit of a damage towards it within reason, and it's £15. That's all we ask for in terms of contribution to the Chromebooks. Sir, over to you.
Right, so my name's Mr. Chowdhury. I'm one of the assistant principals at Bexleyheath Academy, and I'm really privileged to oversee the transition process at Bexleyheath Academy to ensure that you are really well informed as you sort of go ahead and decide the school that you would like to place the young person at. And I think at this moment in time, it's really important that you hear from our students about their experience at Bexleyheath Academy. So on that note, I'm going to pass you over to some of our students who will be sharing their experiences starting in Year 7.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Tomasova, and I'm currently in Year 7. I'm here to share my experience at Bexleyheath Academy. I chose Bexleyheath Academy because it is a great school to help me socialize and express my creativity. The teachers are extremely kind, understanding, and supportive. They will always go out of their way to help you. I get that some people will be scared, and I was too, but after a few days, I got used to it. Ever since I joined Bexleyheath Academy, my confidence has been boosted and I feel much more independent and organized. Bexleyheath Academy provides free extracurricular clubs where anyone who is within the required year group is able to join. I have joined multiple different clubs, and I'll tell you about 2 of them. On Mondays, I go to dance club. This club is hosted by Mr. Cook. This club helps you with flexibility and teaches you mainly jazz and ballet. Another club that I attend is Netball Club on Thursdays. It teaches you the positions, roles, and techniques in netball. Thank you. I'll now pass on to AJ.
Hello, my name is AJ and I'm in Year 7. When I attended the Taster Days at Bexleyheath Academy, my first look at the school was, wow, the building was so big and I was nervous as well, really excited. I thought about the day I would be a student at this school, and that's where I knew Bexleyheath Academy was the perfect school for me, as I am already learning so many things in different subjects. Since joining Bexleyheath Academy, I have become more confident and independent, and I am learning much more now. Thank you for listening. I'm passing on to Diek.
Hello, my name is Diek, and I am currently in Year 7. And now I will talk about the extracurricular clubs and settling in. The curricular clubs are free, just like Lisa said, and I really loved it because I obviously go to football and piano club, which I find really interesting. And settling in also was one of my key parts of coming into Bexleyheath Academy, as the teachers were very nice and very comfortable to be around with. And I also like that we have remarkable points, to help build positive character. And now I'll be passing on to Alexia.
Hello, my name is Alexia and I'm currently in Year 7. In Bexley Heath Academy, our teachers treat us with respect and kindness. They always put a smile on our faces. Even if we're stuck or we don't know where to go to find our lessons, they would help us find them. My favourite part about the past couple of weeks is English and maths, because even if I'm stuck, they would help me with my learning. Thank you for listening. I will now be passing you over to Scarlett.
Hello, my name is Scarlett and I'm in Year 7. When we first joined the school, the teachers are very supportive. Because it would be scary starting Year 7, you can also talk to other students about how you may be feeling, because we all have felt how you will be feeling when you join. So far, I have enjoyed most of my lessons, and I have also enjoyed the canteen food in the school. Since joining Bexley Heath Academy, I have gained great confidence. I am now passing it on to Aidan.
Hello, I'm Aidan and I'm in Year 9, and I'm going to talk about how prep helps support students advancing in their knowledge, because it encourages students to read and gain mathematical skills to help with their vocabulary for the future. And so on Monday we do mental arithmetics, which helps with math skills and revising topics that we've already done previously. On Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday we do Bedrock and Mion, which helps students learn structures of sentences, expand their vocabulary, and to read creative writing. And on a Friday, we do a career talk, which helps towards students having to see which job they would like, and explaining how they got there and how it helps them in their life. And now I'll be passing on to James.
Hello, I'm James and I'm in Year 10. I'll be talking about what happens in Year 11 prep. We learn about religion, and it helps everyone feel included. We also get taught loads of different revision techniques for our exams to make sure we will pass. And we also have career talks on Fridays to broaden our knowledge on what career paths we could take. I'm going to be passing back to the teacher.
So we will be now moving on to looking at teaching and learning, and I'll be passing you over to Ms. Kabalka, who's our Vice Principal overseeing teaching and learning.
Thank you, Mr. Chowdhury, and good afternoon, everybody. As Mr. Chowdhury introduced, my name is Miss Stevens Kabalka, and I oversee in my position as Vice Principal everything to do with teaching and learning. So making sure that every day students experience the highest quality lessons here at the Academy, and that they are leaving us with really strong outcomes as well in all of their subjects. Now, Ms. Luther has talked a little bit about the curriculum, the subjects that are on offer to students as they enter at Key Stage 3, but also as they move through into Key Stage 4 as well. And I just wanted to focus a little bit on our teaching and learning cycle. And the reason for this is it's the structure that is in place for every single one of our lessons. And we share this because it's really important that students coming into us and in Year 7 are kind of aware of what lessons look like. And we try and make sure that we have the same structure every single lesson, regardless of whether you're going into English, maths, drama. And the reason for that is it provides that consistency. You know exactly what it is that you are going to expect at each part of your lesson. You know what the expectations are of you as well. And that just really helps make that transition from Year 6 to Year 7 that little bit easier, but also means that you are really prepared in your lessons as well. So what's going to happen when you arrive at your classroom with your teacher? You will have a check-in activity on the board, and this is really important for just bringing back prior knowledge that you would have learned, things that you would have looked at in previous lessons, or maybe a couple of lessons ago, or maybe a little bit earlier on in the year. And it's all about bringing information to the forefront of your brain that you are going to need to recall, whether it be in everyday life or in an assessment, and just that practice of just bringing it back into your memory, having a little kind of 3 to 5 questions where you're just testing your knowledge to get you settled into the lesson is really important. The next part is then the checkout review. And actually the checkout review doesn't really make sense unless we go look at what happens at the end of a lesson. Because at the end of a lesson, every single student will complete a checkout. And that checkout takes place on Google Forms. So using your Chromebooks, you will log on to Google Classroom and your teacher will have posted a Google form where you will have probably about kind of 5 to 10 multiple choice questions that you will answer independently. And they're multiple choice questions because your teacher will have chosen those answers carefully so that one of them is correct, but also there's some slight errors in some of the other answers as well. And by looking at where you get your errors, where you make questions correct, but also where you get questions incorrect, your teacher can review your checkout ready for the next lesson. And that means that in the checkout review, they've had the time at the end of the lesson to have a look at how everyone has performed, how well they've performed, what slight errors or misconceptions might have come in, and they are able to review that with the students and address them and make sure that they reteach where they need to, and then provide students with an opportunity to show that they can now get it correct again with a follow-up question. They then go on to the main part of the teaching and learning cycle. And this is where the teachers are the experts in the room. They are our subject specialists, and they are able to explain the content of that lesson to students. But they don't explain it all in one go. They explain it in small steps and small scaffolded steps so that students can take that information in and they don't become overloaded with new information. So they teach that content, just a small bit of content, small information, and then they're going to have the checkpoint. And this is where we pause and take a moment to just make sure that students have an opportunity to be tested on low stakes testing. It might be a quiz, it might be using mini whiteboards, it might be using flashcards, for example, to answer a couple of questions to show the teacher whether they can do the particular task or they've understood the knowledge that's been given to them. So the checkpoint really is that I'm making sure that everybody is ready to move on to the next stage. And once the teacher is confident, okay, we get this, we understand this lesson content, we're ready to move on, they then apply that knowledge. And what that means is they take everything that they've learned so far in that lesson and they apply it to perhaps an exam question, or perhaps they are going to write a piece of extended writing, or perhaps in maths, for example, they might just have a series of questions that they've got to answer, but they take the time to really embed that knowledge in the application phase and work independently, but sometimes in groups, to just really make sure that they're embedding that knowledge. And that cycle might repeat once, it might repeat twice, but at the end of the lesson, it then goes on to the checkout for the final part, again, where that last little bit of knowledge is tested. So we go through this cycle every single lesson. Now, it's not just the lesson that is really important for making sure that students are successful at Bexley Heath Academy, it's also the homework that we set as well. Because what they do inside the classroom and outside the classroom is what's going to make sure that all of your learning really comes together and they have an opportunity to practice. And as I said, it's all about embedding the knowledge that they learn. So our homework platforms that we use are for English, Maths, Science and Spanish. So we have 4 key platforms for our 4 core subjects here at Bexley Heath Academy. And each week on a Friday, homework is set for students and it is then set and expected to be completed for the following Thursday. And the platforms that we use are really, really impressive. They have got a lot of technology that goes on behind them, where they have AI and machine learning to make sure that students get questions that are most appropriate for them. So although the teacher might give them a particular topic area that they need to work on, it makes sure that the questions that they are answering are individualized to students. So one student might have questions on one part of a topic and another student might have questions on a slightly different part, because it's learning how it is that you're engaging with the work. It understands what you're getting wrong, but also what you're getting right, and making sure that those questions are appropriate for you as well. So that really helps to consolidate your learning and take you back sometimes to topics that you haven't studied in a while, just to keep that information really at the top of your brain, so that you feel secure in your subject. Even if you've moved away from the content for a little bit of time, you feel that you understand those topics from previous lessons and you're able to keep building on your learning as well. And with that, I'm going to pass on to our next member of staff.
Okay, so we're going to be hearing again from students, and this time students reflecting on the teaching and learning at Bexley Heath Academy along with the homework. So I'm going to pass over to our students now, starting with Emma.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name's Emma Glasson and I'm a Year 8 student here at Bexley Heath Academy.
The homework that we have set has helped me because if we learn something in our lessons that we've gone over it, that I've covered in my homework, it's a lot easier to understand and everything's a lot easier in general. When I like how my lessons are structured because when I get into the classroom, there's always work on the board for me to do. So even if it's reminding me from last lesson, it's still helpful. My teachers make my learning engaging because they'll ask us questions about how we understand the work and what we are learning. In lessons like science, the teacher will do practical demos or we will do the practicals. And they're always really fun, whether chemistry, physics, or biology. And yeah, I'm passing on to Tyler.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tyler Grace, and I am from Year 8. So the lessons here are spectacular, so let me share it with you. The lessons planned by our teachers are dynamic and unique. So they are all individually planned by each teacher, fully varying from class to class, but each one more captivating than the last. I enjoy my lessons with a passion. I hope you keep that mindset too. Each lesson is well thought and engaging since they are all planned with a passion, which since teachers are always always find a way to include every student, whether it be simply answering questions or even doing a hands-on practical in science. The teacher always checks to see if you're engaged in lessons and furthermore enjoying it. It is their job after all, which doesn't change the fact that they want you to learn and be successful. Thanks for listening. Next up, Faze.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Prose and I'm in Year 9. During my 2 years here, technology has played a key part in my education. It makes learning so much easier because everything is on one thing that we can all access. Our Chromebooks are especially useful during exam week, allowing us to access revision materials and practice tests without carrying loads of paper. Teachers also make sure we have a variety of online resources, which makes studying more flexible and engaging, such as our homework platforms and even additional ones we get for certain lessons, such as Soundtrap, which we get for our music. It really boosts our creativity and understanding of each subject we get. Thank you for listening, and I'll pass on to my fellow student, Emily.
Good evening, my name is Emily and I'm in Year 9. Following on from what Praise said, Chromebooks help us a lot in lessons, but teachers can do even more. Teachers rely on visual. They make lessons engaging. They can explain things in a way you can see in the way you can understand. They can see what you struggle with and help you individually. They help us remember important pieces of information by explaining things over and over until you get it. They demonstrate things often in science so you can understand how and why you are learning about that topic. Thank you so much for listening. I will now pass on to Xander.
Hello, my name is Xander, and my favorite subject at BA is music because we get to play the djembe drums, which originate from West Africa. We also get to make our own beats and rhythms, and I would recommend coming here. I'm going to pass it on to Akin.
Hello everyone, my name is Akin. I'm here to discuss how it is that teachers at BA help you to retain key knowledge and what my favorite subject is and why. At BA, you often have check-in and check-out questions. The check-in questions help you to retrieve information from the previous lessons, while the check-out questions, before you leave the classrooms, help to lock in the key theories that you've learned from the classrooms. My favorite subject, I would say, is mathematics. Maths helps to logically explain constant features in our everyday lives. And unlike most other subjects, it often has clear and right answers, which can be very satisfying, especially when derived from complex thoughts and theories. My maths teacher, Mr. Yu, often give us concise theories and tips on how to solve these mathematical problems, and as such, I enjoy the subject. I'll now be passing on to Naomi.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Naomi Mafandarawa, and I'm in year 13, and I'm a sixth former in Bexley Heath Academy. I want to talk to you a little bit about why I decided to stay in the sixth form. I joined the school in year 10, and from the moment I joined, I felt a lot of love from my pastoral manager, Miss Freeman. She took me in and made me feel so welcome. I currently study English literature, history, and IT. And I chose those subjects because I really have a passion for English and history, and I also needed something to balance those subjects out, so I chose IT. I decided to stay because in this school I found a family, I found a second home, I found a nice community in which I can do my 5 days in the week in. The teachers here are really supportive, not just in lessons, but even in break times and lunch times, after school, before school. And I found that that support system was something I'd want to hold on to for the last 2 years in like this institution, of which I'm really grateful for. And I'll now hand over to Daniel.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Williams Daniel. I study maths, physics, and chemistry. I'm in year 13. I joined the school in year 10 and obviously decided to stay on in sixth form. I chose Bexley Heath because it's a really good institution, not only for education, but also for personal development. The school, what I really like about the school is that the school is always striving for change and development every single academic year. They're always adding something to rediscover what's possible, push the limits, and just create a positive atmosphere for the students and to make learning more efficient. In a classroom, there's about roughly 25 students, max 30. Yeah, so to make learning intimate, so each teacher knows what each student needs, which is a really good feature for the success of each student in their studies. Bexley Heath, I've had great experiences, and it's definitely a journey I for sure recommend for the potential candidates. Thank you.
So thank you so much to our students for sharing their experience of teaching and learning at Bexley Heath Academy. I'm now going to pass you over to Ms. Shallow, who will be talking about our personal development curriculum.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chowdhury. Thank you, students, and thank you, Daniel, for slipping in personal development, giving me a nice little, entrance there. Hi and good evening, parents and year 6. As you're sat watching this, you're probably most likely going to be one of our future young people, and I'm going to be talking to you about our personal development curriculum and what it really means to be at BA and actually feel and live and breathe our personal development curriculum. Now, we want all our young people to leave school and go off and become adults who are successful, not just successful adults, but ones that actually make a great impact to society in a positive way. Now, the only way, or one of the many ways that we can actually achieve that is through our personal development curriculum. So if I go back to what Miss Luther said earlier on, our personal development curriculum is actually part of our holistic curriculum, just like PE and RE, and it's a perfect platform for us to develop the holistic growth of our young people. So looking at their social, emotional, and psychological needs, them understanding what those things are. In that curriculum, we teach our young people about health and well-being, where we teach them about what physical health or mental health is. We teach them about how to manage stress, especially when they're in year 11 or in year 13 and they've got exams, that final exam that they've got to look forward to. We teach them about self-awareness. So what a way to encourage young people to self-reflect and know how they impact people in their community. whether it be in a positive nature or in the negative nature, but being able to reflect when they've made those choices and the impact of those choices. We teach our young people how to become adaptable. As we know, the world is forever changing. So every single one of us, there's that pressure for us to adapt to our environment as things change. So we teach our young people how to cope in those new changes, and especially when they're looking at challenging opportunities as well. We teach them about life skills, so how to be problem solvers, how to be critical thinkers. We also teach them about emotional intelligence. As we all know, emotional intelligence it's a way of not just young people self-regulating themselves, but it's for them to cope emotionally and being able to read other people's emotions as well. We teach our young people about social responsibilities. So, for example, this year we're going to have every single year group is going to have the ownership to select a charity and contribute towards fundraising and creating awareness about that charity. Our curriculum for PD also incorporates career for young students as well. We call it career readiness. We teach them about what skills they would need to be successful in jobs. It can be for a job interview. We teach them about the different careers opportunities that they have globally, not just locally. So, for example, every Friday this term, we have a specific person that comes in, and we call it our career insight, where somebody actually comes from the industry and just talks to our young people about what they've achieved, what their career pathway has been so far. So our personal development, next slide, please, sir. Our curriculum actually has three key focuses. So the first one is health and well-being. So we teach them about physical, mental, offline safety, and online safety. We teach our young people relationship, sex education as well. So, and in those lessons, we teach them about friendship. So what a healthy friendship might look like, what bullying is, what constitutes as bullying. We talk about world issues as well. We also have a strand called Life and Beyond School. And in that, we talk about our British values. We teach them what those British values are and what it means to be, part of the British society and how we contribute to those. And like I said, we cover career readiness as well. Now, our curriculum is not just something we do for PD, is not just something we do during lessons. So we actually have our assembly program as well. And I know that we've got some young people that I'll be talking to you in a minute about what PD actually looks like, their experiences of PD. I think that I can now pass over to Mr. Chowdhury. We've got some young people to give us exactly what that looks like.
Yes, that's right. So we're going to be going over to our students now, and we will hear from two students who will share their experiences of the PD curriculum.
Okay, so that's Katie and Aiden.
Hello, my name is Katie Glasson. I'm a Year 8 student here at Bexley Heath Academy. Within my first year in the academy, I've had weekly assemblies, and I still do. The assemblies teach us about upcoming or past events in the UK. Like on the week of the 1st of June, we had an assembly about Pride Month, celebrating all of the students in the academy, no matter who they are. Speaking of celebrations, at the end of the assembly, we celebrate the students who have performed the best within the past week. Also, at the end of every term, we have an assembly celebrating the students who've performed best during the term. Since the start of Year 8, my assemblies have been covering the five key British values. Thank you for listening. I'm now passing on to Aiden.
Hello, I'm Aiden, and I'm in Year 9. In our lessons, we learn about personal development and religious education. Personal development is extremely important because it helps students learn essential things that they will use later in life. We learn how to be socially acceptable and what things we are and aren't allowed to do in public. This links to other things such as how to keep fit and how to be money-wise, consent and boundaries. This is so that everyone stays safe and students understand how the body works too, cross-linking with science. Religious education is also very important to ensure all students understand other people and their religious values so that they can stay respectful to them and make sure nothing is offensive. Respect everyone as a whole, making sure nobody gets offended. Everyone gets treated with honesty and respect. We make sure everyone is included. Thank you.
Okay, so this brings us to behaviour and attitudes, and I'm going to pass you over to Miss Delver, the Vice Principal overseeing behaviour and attitudes across the Academy.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all the young people today who took part and demonstrated how well they are developing as young people in our academy. So thank you for everybody. So good evening. My name is Miss Delva. I'm Vice Principal in charge of Behavior and Attitude. So if you can go back, please. Thank you. So what does that mean? That means I ensure that there's discipline across the academy and that students grow into respectful members of the community and are safe in school. Earlier in this presentation, Miss Luther mentioned how proud she was of our students at Bexley Academy. And as head of behavior and attitude, I certainly share this sentiment as well. And whilst I'm not going to pretend that I have an easy job at the academy, I'm extremely grateful for working with such wonderful young people every day. And that's because our students are actually really polite and very considerate, and they care about one another. So I'm very, very proud to sort of to be doing this role. So I'm just going to next talk to you about our uniform expectations. So if you can go to the uniform expectation slide, please, I'll be very grateful. Thank you so much for that. So just to talk about your presentation when you join our academy, this is very important because this represents yourself and really how you carry yourself in life. So it's very important that we look super smart and represent our school really well. So for your daily uniform, students are expected to wear a white shirt paired with either black or charcoal trousers or a pleated skirt if you're wearing a skirt. But please note that from September 2025, we are looking to transitioning to from skirts to culottes. But you'll know more about this closer to the time that you will start with us at the academy. Trousers must be worn smartly at the waist as well. That's very important. And we have special gear at Bexley Academy for PE. But once again, more information is going to be given to you as we approach the start date in September. We've got clear guidelines when it comes to makeup and appearance. And so just to clearly put simply, makeup, false eyelashes, nail extensions and nail varnish are not allowed in our academy. The only acceptable piece of jewelry is a watch. Any piece of jewelry that is will be confiscated and returned to students at the end of the academic year. If you will come to school wearing makeup, students are going to be asked to remove the makeup and any form of embellishment such as false eyelashes as well. We also have clear guidelines around a bag. So it's important for students to come to school prepared with the correct equipment, and part of this is the bag. So the bag that's requested needs to be big enough to contain a Chromebook that is provided for you by the academy, and it needs to be you need to be able to close the bag so the Chromebook does not get damaged, and it needs to be big enough to also contain an A4 size book as well. Another important rule in our school is to come fully equipped. So that will be checked every single day, that you come to school with the following equipment that you can see on the board: pen, pencil, ruler, and so on and so forth. Of course, your Chromebook is part of your compulsory equipment, and you need to bring in every day, as well as the charger. A very other important rule in our school is the mobile phone rule. Mobile phones in our school are banned. So if you're found with a phone, unfortunately, the phone will be confiscated until the end of the day. And there is an escalation for students who are caught more than once using a mobile phone on site. For people who are worried about being able to contact their child or their child being able to contact parents, we've got a reception, and that's through reception that students and parents can be contacted in case of an emergency. So please avoid having your phone out because this item will be confiscated. One more thing I want to talk to you about in terms of behavior. So if I can ask you to click until you reach the last bullet point. Yep, that's it. Thank you. Is behavior expectations in terms of the classroom. So at Bexley Academy, we ensure that your lessons are, I would say, disruption free. That means if anybody or anything is stopping you from learning, this is removed from the lesson. That means if you are in a lesson and someone is not able to self-regulate and is disrupting the learning of others, that particular individual is going to be removed from the lesson and then spoken to by an adult about the next step. So it could be just a bit of time to refocus, or it could be a further conversation about a sanction if what the person did was problematic. However, most importantly, your lessons are going to be disruption free, and you will be able to sort of reach your maximum capacity in lesson and maximum outcomes as well. But don't just look at sanctioning students and punishing people. I'm also very proud to sort of discuss successes at our academy. So if you can press next, please. So not only do we have a very clear sort of behavior policy and sanctions, we also make sure that we celebrate our students in our team for anything that you do at the academy. That's great. Okay, so we will reward you for exceptional attendance and your punctuality. Anything that you do in terms of producing good quality work in your lessons will be also rewarded by your classroom teachers. Things that you can do outside as well. Let's say you are just very polite, or you're helping out for an event that's taking place at the school, you will get reward points for that. What happens in the end is you're going to collect all those points, and there are some prizes coming your way, and certificates and so on and so forth. And I've got some examples I'm hoping on the next slide to show you. So for you don't, but I don't know from the top of my head. So 20 points, you get a queue jump at the canteen, for example. So that means when everybody is going to line up to buy their food at break and lunch, you just jump the queue because you got all of these points. We also have pizza parties. We've got goals tickets. You can have some goals tickets for you and one of your friends, and you can go play some football there. And we also organize trips, end of year trips as well. Last year we went to Thorpe Park, and that was a fantastic trip where I took the students who managed to get the most remarkable points for the year. So I'm really looking for you to join our academy and just demonstrate how remarkable you can be and gather and get all of these rewards as well. And the last point I'm going to mention is extracurricular activity. We've got lots of clubs taking place at Bexleyheath Academy, as you can see on the list over here. Most sort of sports clubs tend to take place at the end of the day, but we also have clubs taking place during lunchtime as well. So you can see here, art therapy is a good one, coding, choir, football, very popular club, netball, wellbeing club, STEM club. So it's a long list of clubs that you can join. And very importantly, we want all of our year sevens, all of our students really, but all of our year sevens more specifically, to do at least 2 clubs a week. So 2 clubs a week. And of course, once again, you get points for attending all of those clubs. So a great opportunity to collect remarkable points as well. And I'm now going to hand over to our wonderful student voice, Mr. Chowdhury. Over to you, Mr. Chowdhury.
Thank you so much, Miss. And on that note, I think it's really important that we hear from our students and their experience of the behaviour systems that we have in place at Bexleyheath Academy and how it supports in creating that positive learning environment and also ensuring that every student that walks through our doors is successful during their time at Bexleyheath. So I'm going to pass over now to our students.
Hello, my name is Diek, back again, obviously. So I'm going to be talking about the behaviour policy. Carrying on from Miss Delva, which she said about the seclusion system where you can get removed from a class, which shows the strict but fair rules in Bexleyheath Academy. But also, we also have a warning system, which helps us, behave in class. And that's about it from behaviour for me. And now I'll hand over to James.
Hi, it's James again, and I'll be talking. Some of you might be questioning how the behaviour system supports students in their learning. If students are interrupting the learning, they will be given their first warning, and if they do not stop, they will get their second warning and then on call. Corrections are given if you miss homework or you miss a PE kit, or you don't have a correct part of uniform. And it's only a 20-minute detention, but you are able to revise in the 20-minute detention. SLT also roam the hallways to make sure no students are truanting and make sure that everyone is in their lesson ready to revise. And now I'm going to hand over to Miss Chicolita.
Hi, hello, good evening. I'm Andrea Chicolita. I'm the Senko at Bexley Heath Academy, and I'm going to talk to you about the provisions that we put in place for our SEN students. All our support is in a pyramid shape. All the students get the bottom tier, the tier 1, a general support that is in class delivered to every single of our students. This is because we want to be inclusive. We want to include every single child in education. Above this level is level 2 of support, which includes some interventions. This can be group-based interventions focused on specific area of need. And this can take the shape of clubs. It can take the shape of social, emotional, mental health support, ASD support, and so on. It depends on the need of the student. The last tier of support, which is the highest tier and the most narrow one, is the one that is addressing very individual needs. So this will be the one-on-one interventions the students are used to in their primary schools. I'm going to move in detailing how the support will look in the classroom for all the students. This take the shape of quality first teaching. At Bexley Heath Academy, SEN is driven by the latest research. We know that quality first teaching is an inclusive way of teaching and benefits all students. It doesn't just include the SEN students, it includes all of our students, no matter what their need may be. And it is proactive. It is reacting to the need of the student then and there, because what teachers do, according to this quality first teaching strategy, is checking if the students understand the content of the lesson, is changing the way the lessons are planned and delivered to all of our students, and focusing on creating and engaging a learning environment, not just the learning material. Interventions have an essential role, and I spoke about one tier of intervention that can be group interventions, and the higher tier that can be one-on-one interventions, very specialized most of the time, delivered to EACP students. But interventions at Bexley Heath Academy are very specifically created. We created the interventions by listening to what children need. We do not create the intervention first. We answer to the need of a child. We put this intervention in place not to disturb learning. So we make sure that all our students access learning first, and then they get on top of that an intervention that will respond to their very specific need. Again, that can be done in a small group, or it can be done in a one-on-one basis. I'm going to go next to diagnosis and support, because this is one of the things that I wanted to address. We know that diagnosis for ASD and ADHD can take up to a year. We are not looking at labels. We are looking at the need of a child. That's why we put interventions in place that respond to that immediate need. And it can be social, emotional, mental health need. It can be the need for social communication. It can be a specific literacy and numeracy need, and so on. So we are trying to make the academy as inclusive as possible. And in our effort to do so, we have a very clear timeline in gathering information from primary schools, which should finish around 31st of May, where all the paperwork from primary schools are gathered to the academy. And at the end of June, we also take part in the borough transition events where all the information from primary schools are delivered. And on top of this, we create our own transition events at the Bexley Heath Academy.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chicolita. We're just going to hear from now some of our students that are supported by Ms. Chicolita and the inclusion team. So over to Asha in Year 11, who will start us off.
Hello, my name is Asha and I'm a Year 11 student. The SEND is very helpful to BA students, as from my personal experience in Year 7, I had a lot of anxiety and I've always had panic attacks. But we have a lovely counsellor here at BA named Miss Ailing, who is able to help you with your personal problems. And now I have moved on to outside help, which has helped me stay focused in class and has helped me get back on track with learning. The hub is available for those with special needs. So even if you struggle with learning in class, there's always a place that you could access learning and grow. The school has a very special system where it keeps our corridors quiet for people with ADHD and ASD needs. So we are very accommodating in that way. We also have supportive staff who you can go to for anything. So even if you're a bit confused about your lessons or anxious about anything, the staff is always here to help you. This is how the SEND help is very helpful to all BA students. Over to Gracie.
Hi, my name is Gracie and I'm a Year 11 student, and I'm going to be talking about the SEND team at BA and how they help students in need. First, the hub is open to all students if they are having a bad day or upset. The staff at the hub are very helpful and listen to any problems/worries you have. The hub is situated in 213 and there's always enough staff in the hub if needed. In addition, rules have been put in place to aid ASD and ADHD students. For example, the SLT team ensured that the hallways are silent for those who struggle with noise. As someone with ASD myself, it is very helpful that there are rules in place to keep ASD and ADHD students happy and calm in the hallways and in Bexley Heath Academy. Thank you for listening. I'm going to pass on to the teacher.
I think I was on mute there. So again, I'd just like to start by thanking our students at Bexley Heath Academy for sharing their experiences. And I hope that at home you found that really invaluable, because I think what is really front and center at Bexley Heath Academy is the students, and making sure that, our learning is student centered. And I think, where you're making the choices of selecting the school for your child. I hope that the students, as well as the staff, have made it clear that Bexley Heath Academy is definitely the place to be. And as part of that process, our transition process will enable you to kind of make that right decision as well. So we've had a number of transition events on already. So if you've come to our Year 6 open evening, you have had that opportunity to meet with the principal, the senior leadership team, have a tour of the academy and speak to faculty leaders, staff and students across the school. We've also had last week a week-long Year 6 open mornings where we had over 280 families come through our doors, who were able to sort of go to lessons across the different subject areas at school, speak to teachers, speak to students, and really get a feel for the learning environment and the culture that we have at Bexley Heath Academy as well. We obviously have the virtual open evening today. We also have our SEND open evening next week from 5 to 6:30. And that will take place on Wednesday, the 9th. So on this slide, it does say Thursday, but it will be on Wednesday, the 9th of October. And we have a series of masterclasses on. So today we delivered an English masterclass to Year 6 students. And again, it's an opportunity for students to come and experience the learning cycle at Bexleyheath Academy and the lesson structure that we have. Next week, we've got our mathematics masterclass. And again, all the booking information is online for this. So if you go on the transition section of our website, the Google form to book your child's place for these masterclasses is on there. I've also, for those parents that are part of our mailing list, I've also emailed out the Google forms to join these classes as well. You've also got the science masterclass on Wednesday, 16th of October. On the last week of before half term, we have a series of family fun workshops that we are planning to deliver, and this will involve both the students that are looking to join, but also parents as well. So it's an opportunity for you to take part in a workshop which is subject specific and really experience the curriculum and the learning cycle in that particular subject. So the subjects that we will be looking at will be PE, art, technology, and IT. So there'll be a coding workshop for IT, for technology. There will be a technology focused workshop that is delivered. For art, it will be an art workshop. For PE, it will be one of our WOW workshops, which looks at cardiovascular health and healthy eating and exercise. So these will be the different workshops that we have in place for the last week of term, which again, the booking information will be on the school website. So again, I'm really excited to hopefully be welcoming you to one of these events over the course of the next couple of weeks. If you have any questions, please do feel free to email the school, and a member of the transition team will be in touch, making sure that we answer those questions. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our presentation today, and have a great evening. Thank you. Bye now.